Hello, throwers. Coach back at you. We've had a request to do Gerd Kanter. Gerd Kanter's from Estonia. Really, you know, a, an outstanding thrower in the 2000s, if you will. He's from Estonia, 6'4", 280 pounds. He was the world champion in 207. Went on to win gold in 208 in Beijing, and then followed it up late in kind of his career in 2012 with a bronze medal in London. So he brings a lot to this event. Was well coached at the time, and we're gonna kind of let this run, and then we'll bring it back. This is probably the best piece I could find. It's a qualifying throw from London. So let's have a look at this throw. We'll slow it down ever so slightly, and then we'll come back and look at the great things he brought to this event. Out of the back into the center, boom. Qualifying throw, a little more than 66 meters and change, was enough to obviously go on to the final where he went on to win bronze. So he's really quite happy with that. So let's go back to his throw there, and then we'll kind of, like all throws, kind of give a sense of where he is and all the great things that he does in this event. So we'll bring in the pencil. Um, at 6'4", some of these bigger fellas that come to this event, boy, that circle goes away really quick across the circle. So, but he does a great job with the area that he has or the geography he has to go across here in the circle. So let's have a look at this as he comes around. Um, like most throwers, you can see we have a center line that goes down through the middle of the sector line, and he offsets that as far as where his um, address is. So at the front of the circle, see a little bit closer here on that left side, a little bit further away um, on his right leg here. I'll just come back to this. You can see just a little bit out there, a little bit tighter here to the circle. And again, it really depends on the thrower. Sometimes you can be a little bit shifted to the left side of the circle, to the right side of the circle. It really comes down to a level of comfort. But as far as the basis of the address, it's a good, it's kind of textbook in that particular regard. Okay, so let's move him around the circle a little bit and see what he does really well. And I think the first thing that we need to come back to and is really the importance of this first address, right? So on his left leg, he's going to make that quick turn, stay on the ball of his foot so that he can facilitate as much momentum out of that left side as he comes around the circle. That right leg is going to swing around nice back into the center of the circle and near center of the circle for a big fellow like this, and he'll put it down with the hope of staying on the ball of his foot. Let's see if he does that. Okay, so let's move that around here as he comes around. So we'll stop it there. Now you can see there's a couple of really good things here. Um, right here you can see that he is, for a guy 280 pounds, on the ball of his foot, and that will continue to turn. It will never stop turning. And what I really like is him dropping that left leg over here so that he opens himself up so he can swing those hips around in the throwing direction. Really key part of that throw to get into that stable power position at the front. Now you'll notice something here. Let's block it off. And his arm is still back. Now I'm just going to back it up just ever so slightly. I'm going to give you kind of a sense of where what he's thinking as he's coming out of the back of the circle here, and Kanter's coach, who I've had some experience with here, what he always advocated was when you made that turn in the circle, it wasn't to, most throwers tend to look to the left side of the circle as a right-handed thrower, and he always advocated that there should only be one thought in that thrower's mind as he makes his turn, that all his momentum is going down that left sector line. You can see his gaze is down the left sector line, and what he wants to do is to not prematurely rotate. In other words, he wants to rotate out of the back and then kind of draw a straight line this way before he makes his turn in the middle. And what I mean by that is if we could draw a line, if you will, you know, if we could draw a line through the center of the circle, he would not want Gerd to go to the left side of that circle. Make your turn, go down this way to the left side. In other words, he will not be rotating to the left side circle. He'll kind of make a run down the left side of the sector. It'd be like making the turn and running down the left side of the sector, if that makes any sense. So what he's going to do now, he's going to set up in that power position, which is critical. Remember, he's on the ball of his foot. Excellent job here. Now we're brought back to where we were just a minute ago. And now here's a really important thing, his body profile. Okay, so he's managed to keep his arm back for as long as he can. He hasn't started his throw yet. He hasn't dropped his foot down just yet. He's on his ball here. He is off his heel just ever so slightly. The whole address now will be to drop that leg down in here, and he'll be offset. So this will be where his left foot is, his right foot will be out here, and that will allow his hips to swing in the direction of the throw. It provides him with that left side block on his left arm and his left leg on the surface, and away he goes. So let's have a look at this a few more frames in advance. So you can see here now he's established, but he's almost in a hack squat. So he's going to use a little lift because he, Kanter's not a poster. He doesn't post and throw. He comes off the ground and switches. So what he's going to do, probably, I don't have a stopwatch on it, but he would probably be on there for less than a tenth, 2/10 of a second, where he has double support system in his power position. Here he goes out of this spot. Now you can see he's turning over he's got that, really trying to be very strong on his left side block. You can see here, that's where it stops. This is where it stops. Support and let it turn and let it rip through here on the right hand side. Toes over, knees over, everything's pointing in the right direction for him. You can see that total offset here from his left and his front foot, right? A lot of blockers will leave that left foot up front, and it's really hard to rotate your hips that way. So here you go, and then he comes out of the throw, and it's just a classic reverse on it, and the implement is well out of his hand at this point and on its way. So here's just a couple of great tips to kind of share with that all-time thrower. It doesn't matter if you're an intermediate thrower or a world-class thrower or just one beginning to throw the discus. These are really important points to point out to be a successful discus thrower. Good job, Gerd. What a career. I guess he's doing some law enforcement now back in his home country, and all the best with that. Best to him and his family. Have a great one there, Gerd. Later.